Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive? Today we're looking at a story that blends ancient mythology and technology.
Sounds intriguing already. What's the source material?
It seems to be a comic book script or treatment called Who's Lurking Inc.? And the premise, a battle for the future of social media.
Social media, that's a unique twist.
Oh, it gets wilder. We're talking time travel, Egyptian royalty, a half-angel CEO. It's like someone took every cool concept and crammed it into one story.
I'm hooked already. Where do we start?
Well, the heart of it all is this character, Javon Ku. He's our protagonist, a half-angel born in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt. Wow.
Yeah, during the reign of Ramesses II, no less.
Ramesses II, one of the most powerful pharaohs in history.
Exactly. And Javon Ku's mother, the
Okay.
pharaoh's daughter.
Talk about a lineage. But what about that angel part?
His father was a fallen angel.
Fallen angel, huh? The bad guy.
Not exactly. More like a rebel. He chose to live among humans.
Interesting. So not the typical fire and brimstone type.
Nope. He even brought advanced knowledge from heaven to the Egyptian empire.
So a kind of benevolent fallen angel.
You could say that. He genuinely cared for humanity.
Hmm.
But there's a tragic twist. Other good fallen angels offer him a chance to escape to a new dimension,
A new dimension, is that?
present-day Earth. They were trying to avoid Lucifer's influence, but leaving meant abandoning his wife.
Oh, wow.
He couldn't do that, so he refused,
A difficult choice.
and ultimately a fatal one. His refusal led to his death.
So choosing love and loyalty cost him his life.
It's a powerful statement about the complexities of good and evil,
It
right?
definitely makes you think. And what about young Javon Ku,
He's taken by these good angels to present-day Earth.
separated from his mother?
Yeah. Imagine being whisked away to a completely different time and place.
That's got to be a traumatic experience.
Definitely shapes his perspective. But the connection with his mother doesn't end there. They share a telepathic link, sending messages across time and space.
Telepathy.
Right. But there's a heartbreaking twist. Because of the time difference, what seems like days to him might be years for her.
Oh, so their messages are out of sync.
Exactly. He feels ignored, so he travels back in time to find her.
That's got to be rough.
It is. He discovers that she'd already passed away.
Losing both parents, that's tough.
It's a defining moment for him. He carries that grief and guilt.
So this is what sets him on his path.
It motivates him to find purpose. He ends up in the present day. And this is where things get even more interesting. Angels have integrated into human society.
Angels walking among us, that's a new one.
And humanity has created a digital realm, a world within our world.
A digital realm, like the internet.
It's more than that, a separate dimension we can't fully experience. The source material describes it as teeming with ferocious creatures and civilizations.
Whoa, that's a bit creepy.
Right. It's like we've unintentionally created something vast and dangerous.
And because we can't fully see it, it's a breeding ground for threats.
Cybercrime, online predators, things like that.
So it's like the dark side of the internet taken to a whole new level.
Exactly. And that's where Javon Ku's unique abilities come in. He's a half-angel, remember. He can enter and interact with this digital realm.
So he's like our digital guardian angel.
In a way, yes. He becomes aware of the threats and feels compelled to act.
So what does he do? Jumps right into fighting cybercrime.
Actually, he starts as a songwriter, wins awards even.
A songwriter, that's unexpected.
But it's not enough for him. He yearns for something more. He wants to protect others, maybe driven by his parents' sacrifices.
The hero's journey, perhaps?
It seems that way. He creates Who's Lurking, a social media platform.
Okay, so he's fighting fire with fire.
Not exactly. He designs it to combat the threats within the digital realm.
So how does that work? Special coding skills?
The source describes him actually entering the digital realm and battling these creatures.
Wait, really? Like hand-to-hand combat, but online?
It's wild. He uses his angelic abilities to smite those who do evil online.
So he's like a digital warrior.
Exactly. And he's so successful that he's granted a digital monopoly.
A monopoly, that's a lot of power.
It is. And it attracts the attention of Lucifer himself.
Lucifer. Oh boy, this is getting serious.
He wants to control the digital realm for his own evil purposes.
So it's a classic good versus evil showdown, but in cyberspace.
It seems that way. And to prepare, Javon Ku establishes 4 global headquarters for Who's Lurking. Each one is overseen by a powerful angel, like a digital task force.
Makes sense. He's going to need all the help he can get.
Especially since Javon Ku embraces his destiny. He becomes The digital pharaoh.
The digital pharaoh versus Lucifer. Now that's an epic battle.
Right. But we'll have to wait for part 2 to dive into that. So we've got our digital pharaoh ready to face off against Lucifer. But before we get to that, something's been bugging me. What do you think this story is really trying to say?
It's more than just good versus evil, right?
Yeah, it feels like it's tapping into our anxieties about technology.
Absolutely. This whole digital realm thing.
This world within our world.
It's fascinating, but also kind of terrifying.
Like, we've created this vast unknown territory. We're just starting to understand the consequences.
It's almost like the Wild West, but online.
Right. We're all rushing in, excited about the possibilities. But there are dangers lurking everywhere.
And Jae-Von Koo, with his unique abilities.
He embodies both our hopes and fears, don't you think?
Absolutely. He could protect us from the darkness.
But then there's the whole digital monopoly issue.
It makes you wonder if anyone should have that much power.
Even with the best intentions, right?
Exactly. And it's something we're dealing with right now.
Social media giants, search engines, internet regulation.
It's all about finding that balance between freedom and control.
And Who's Lurking Inc. really brings those tensions to life.
It makes us think about the blurring lines between online and offline.
How do we protect our values, our privacy in this digital age?
It's a big question.
And it's not just the ethical considerations. How does Jae-Von Koo actually fight crime in this digital realm?
Yeah, the source talks about him smiting his opponents.
What does that even mean? Is it literal combat?
It's vague. Leaves a lot to the imagination.
Maybe it's more about using strong imagery.
To convey the intensity of the struggle.
So, he's a warrior, but in this digital landscape.
Battling creatures that represent the dark side of the internet.
It's chilling when you think about it. All the hidden algorithms, the data breaches, the misinformation.
It's like he's fighting on behalf of all of us.
Protecting us from these digital demons.
And he's got his team of angels backing him up.
Like a digital council of war.
It's a fascinating mix of old and new.
Ancient Egypt meets modern technology.
With a dash of mythology and science fiction.
And let's not forget the personal element. Jae-Von Koo's journey, his losses, his desire to protect humanity.
It all comes together.
Speaking of which, let's talk about that showdown with Lucifer. The source ends with them preparing for battle.
It's going to be epic, that's for sure.
But what do you think happens? How does it all play out?
Well, based on what we've seen, it's going to be a battle unlike any other.
A half-angel warrior against the embodiment of evil?
In the digital world, no less.
I can only imagine the visuals.
But it's not just about who wins, right?
What happens to the digital realm afterwards? Does Jae-Von Koo become a benevolent ruler?
Or does absolute power corrupt even him?
It's a classic dilemma.
And it's relevant to our world, too.
It makes you think about the nature of power.
And the challenges of governing this digital landscape.
Technology can be a force for progress.
But it can also be a weapon.
And even when used for good, there can be unintended consequences.
The digital realm is complex, ever-changing.
No easy answers, just like in the real world.
But our choices, our actions, they all matter.
We shape the future of this digital world.
Every click, every post, it all adds up.
So what can we take away from this story?
It's a reminder to be critical, to question what we see online.
To think about the ethical implications of our actions.
Technology is a tool. It can be used for good or evil.
And we have a responsibility to shape how it's used.
To ensure it serves humanity, not the other way around.
Well said. As we head into the final part of this deep dive, I'm filled with both excitement and apprehension.
The story might be fictional, but the questions it raises are real.
And they're questions we all need to grapple with. We've gone deep into this Who's Lurking Inc. world. Ancient mythology, cutting-edge tech, the fate of the digital realm. It's a lot.
It's really got you thinking, huh?
Yeah, so many questions, especially since the story ends on a cliffhanger. Jae-Von Koo versus Lucifer. We never actually see the battle.
It makes you wonder how it all goes down.
Right, a half-angel warrior with ancient Egyptian artifacts against the ultimate evil. Talk about a showdown.
It'd be a battle like no other, that's for sure.
And even if Jae-Von Koo wins, what then?
That's the big question.
He's got control over this entire digital realm. Does he become a benevolent ruler, guiding us to a better, safer online experience?
Or does absolute power corrupt even someone like him?
That's what worries me. It's a timeless question, right?
Yes, it is. And it makes you think about Jae-Von Koo's journey.
All his losses, his desire to protect humanity.
Does that influence how he wields his power?
It's a reminder that even in this digital world, human emotions, motivations, They're still driving the story.
Power, responsibility, love, loss. They all play a part.
And it makes you think about our own roles in all this.
Absolutely. We're not just watching this happen.
We're shaping the future of the internet every single day.
Every choice we make online has an impact.
So what's the takeaway from Who's Lurking, Inc.?
For me, it's a reminder to be aware,
Of the good and the bad that exists online.
to question what we see, to think about the consequences of our actions.
To remember that technology is a tool,
It can be used for amazing things.
but it can also be misused
And we have a responsibility to make sure it's used for good.
to build a digital world that benefits everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Who's Lurking, Inc. It's a story that raises more questions than it answers.
But those questions are important.
They make us think about the future of the internet and our role in shaping it. So, to our listeners, we leave you with this. Be critical, be aware, and be engaged. The digital world is vast and ever-changing. Let's make sure we're building a future we can all be proud of. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.